Hi, everybody. My name is Dr. Marta Werner, and I thought I would just make this very short introductory video so that you could have a sense of the face behind the Moodle screen, and also to just introduce myself and my interests, with the hope that this will stimulate a dialogue between all of us, between and among all of us. So welcome to English 112, and as you probably know, right, the official title of English 112 is Research Writing. Recently, we have changed the format of this class a little bit. It used to be that we taught research writing through the study of poetry and drama, but recently we have decided to teach the art of research through special topics. And this semester, the topic for this section of English 112 will be human-animal studies. Let me just read you the description of the course so that you have a good sense of what this course is all about. Animals have been part of our lives and our imaginations for thousands of years. This course offers an introduction to the landscape of a new field, that field of human-animal studies. It explores current research concerning animal cognition and emotion, and probes the complex and ever-changing relations between human animals and other animals in our culture, our systems of thought, our imagination, and our dreams. Central to this course will be an inquiry into the future of both human animals and other animals in the era of the sixth extinction, the era in which we are now living. The objectives of this course are quite simple and yet at the same time quite important. This course is about research, how to develop research methods, how to understand the process of research. And when you complete this course, you will be able to demonstrate very actively, very purposefully, the research process. And you will also, of course, be able to demonstrate competency in that process in the new world in which we live. And by that I mean that you will know how to research using print sources, but also how to research responsibly using all of the digital services available to us today. Let me just tell you a little bit about the assignments for this course, and then try to guide you a little bit through Moodle. There are 4 major assignments in this class. One of them is a reading blog. And so every week you will be assigned some required readings, and in addition to those readings, there will be 1 or more recommended readings for you. You do all the required reading, and then you choose among the recommended readings the reading that might appeal to you the most, and read that selection. In the next week, after you've done the reading for the first week, you will then reflect on those readings and write about them. So your reflection will eventually take the form of a written blog post that you will then post to the site. You're going to do this exercise 6 times over the course of the semester, and that reading blog is really very, very important, and it's a very critical part of your work here. The next assignment I'm calling the CritterCam assignment, and this is an assignment in observation and investigation, and also, of course, in writing. CritterCams are a technology you may already be familiar with. Many wildlife associations are now, and zoos as well, are setting up CritterCams that allow you to watch an animal in its environment without, of course, being there, and without, of course, disturbing that animal. And so in our CritterCam exercise, and I've put down a list of various CritterCams that you could go to, and you can also find your own if you prefer. You will observe, right, observe for at least an hour an animal, and you will record everything about that animal, about its environment, about the motions and movements, anything you see in that hour when you are acting as a research observer. And then, after you've taken your very detailed notes, timed notes, you will reflect on what you know and also on what you don't know about the subject you are studying from your observation experience. We'll do that once officially, but if you enjoy the activity, you are free to do it again for extra credit one time. The next assignment is an annotated bibliography. And this annotated bibliography will be directly correlated to the final research paper that you will write for this class. An annotated bibliography is a list of sources, critical scholarly sources, that you then also explain, right? Give a kind of abstract of each of those sources and why they are important to your research. And finally, there is the research paper itself. The research paper itself sounds like a huge assignment, and of course it is a significant assignment, but it's one that you will have been preparing for the whole time that you've been working over the semester, through your blogs, through your CritterCam exercises, and through that very directed, annotated bibliography. So those are the assignments, and you can find many more details about them, both on the syllabus and especially in a section of the class labeled Overview of Assignments. It will tell you in that section the instructions for the assignment, the grading rubrics for the assignment, and the points assigned for each major assignment. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the structure of the class. I've hinted at that when talking about the blog posts, but essentially the course is structured in 2-week segments. In the first of those segments, you'll be reading, and in the second of those segments, you will be reflecting and writing. But the course is also organized into some larger sections that I think will help us understand various ways of approaching the human-animal relationship. The first section is simply called the coordinates of the field. That is, it's a section that introduces us to this emerging and new field of study by exploring some of the issues, some of the questions that are central to this field. The second section of the class is called Human-Animal Relations. And in this section, we explore both the human-animal bond and also the, at times quite devastating, breaking of that bond by humans to animals. And in the third and last section of the course, we look at animal rights and animal futures. When you first look at this course, it may seem very vast, with a lot of readings, a lot of writing, but it's also actually broken down. Part of the reason it seems so vast is I've tried to break things down on Moodle very, very clearly, so that with each week you will see a summary of what you're expected to do. And I'm hoping that will keep us on track. And I'm also hoping that you will become genuinely engaged in the readings and in the reflective process. And so, although it is, of course, work, this is after all a class, I'm hoping that it's work that you will also be able to relate to the fields you are engaged in, or to your life as a thinking animal yourself. I've tried also to give you quite a few resources that will help you manage the work of this class and also manage it very well. Let me just talk about a few of those resources now. The first one is actually me. I am leading this class, although I do hope that our class will be collaborative. I'm also leading this class and directing it. So you should always feel free to make an appointment to meet me virtually. We can meet virtually through FaceTime. We can meet virtually on Skype. We can meet virtually in a Google Hangout, or probably in a number of other ways, whatever you are comfortable with. I'm hoping that you'll take that opportunity to come and see me, even if we're only talking screen to screen. We can have a very direct relationship that way. And I think it's helpful for me, and I suspect it would be helpful for you to increase our engagement, not only with the materials, but with each other, and to make that engagement part of our collaborative experience as learners. There are also other ways, other resources for you. One of the most important ones is the library, and I have added a link on our Moodle site specifically to the reference desk. The reference librarians are trained to help you conduct meaningful research. So let's say you have decided on a topic on human-animal relations for your final paper, but you really don't quite know where to go with it. The first thing you would do would be to schedule an appointment with me, a virtual office hour, and so we can talk. And then your next stop would be to the reference desk. You can contact them online, or you can just walk over to the D'Youville College Library, the Montanti Family Library, and go to the research desk and sit down and ask for some help about sources. Where do you find the kinds of things that you want to find? And finally, there is the Learning Center. And some of you may already be familiar with the Learning Center, but the Learning Center is a tutoring center and a very, very good place to go if you are looking to strengthen your writing. And I highly recommend that when you're working on your research papers, or even sometimes on your reading blogs or your CritterCam exercise, that you take advantage of the expertise of the tutors in the writing lab. They can really help you a great deal. Okay, so let's just wrap this up by talking about a few more details from the class. The first one would be about textbooks. I've ordered a couple of textbooks, actually 3. One of them is a book by Margot DeMello called Animals and Society, recently published by Columbia University Press. It is an excellent book that introducing us to this new field. And although many of our required readings will actually come from DeMello, but there are things in DeMello that we might not have on the required reading list, but that you might want to look at anyway, depending on the final direction of your research. So that's book number 1, and very important. The second book I ordered is a book by Mark Bekoff called The Emotional Lives of Animals, and published by New World Library in 2007. Mark Bekoff is a very important animal behaviorist and animal ethnographer. And I think you will find his style very different from the style that you might be used to with reading animal behavior texts. He's really taking a very new and a very daring approach to the question of animal intelligence and animal emotion. And since I discovered that so many of the readings that I was assigning for you came from that book, I thought it would be just easier to have the book on hand rather than scans of individual chapters. So there's Margot DeMello, Animals and Society, and Mark Bekoff, The Emotional Lives of Animals. There are also many supplementary readings, but I have provided those supplementary readings as PDF files on our Moodle site. So there's nothing else in terms except one more book to buy for the course. That last book is not about the material in the field, but it is a very useful reference book for writing research papers. And it's Diana Hacker and Nancy Summers, the writer's reference, the most recent edition of that text. This is a text that you will want to keep long after you are done with this class. It is a wonderful place to go to understand the nature of the research paper, the structure of the research paper, but also, and very importantly, citation style, how you cite your research when you're working on a paper. Okay, so I think that covers everything for now. And I'd like just to welcome you to our class again and to encourage you to come and talk to me and talk to each other. Hopefully, we'll do a lot of collaborative work together. And I'm really looking forward to this semester, getting to know you, getting to know all of you, and getting to understand you through your grappling with this new and exciting field. Thanks for joining me. Really looking forward to the semester. Take care.